if you ever want to hear Edgar Wright's take on a movie, you usually can. He's kind of like Roger Ebert. Like, if you look up a movie, he might has said something about it, which is very, it's like a way to motivate you to watch movies. So for a while there, I like wouldn't watch a movie unless I had at least a paragraph of Edgar Wright talking about it. So it's kind of crazy to think about all the movies from the past that I would not have watched were it not for Edgar Wright's recommendation, and then that opened up a whole new pool of like, oh, like I like watching these movies, I'll go and try and find more on my own. This is like 14, 15-year-old me who doesn't know shit about anything, so it was just kind of a cool gateway. Edgar Wright was my gateway into watching movies other than kind of the stuff you can find at Blockbuster. So I actually got to go to a couple Q&As, and I was right up in the front, and both times I went to a Q&A, which was back-to-back days, a Friday and then a Saturday, I was the first person to ask a question. So I definitely think I made an impression of some sort. And it's not going to come across in this video kind of how emotional of an experience it was. It was freaking crazy. I asked him kind of just a question that I thought I would get some advice about, and then, you know, and he kind of just used it as a way to really like give me personal motivation and encouragement, and it was so sweet. And like hearing that out of your hero's mouth, like who's looking at you in the eyes, it was just insane. It was insane, you guys. It was something I had daydreamed about. Like most kids are daydreaming about like their crush or whatever, and yes, I was doing that too in high school for sure, but most of the time I was daydreaming. It was about like being in a room with a Q&A with Edgar Wright. So I had thought about this numerous times throughout the past 4 years, and it was finally happening, and it was like magical. And he told me, like, I have it written down pretty much exactly what he said. So the 3 phrases that I like kept track of when he was talking, and like said, okay, you have to remember this for the rest of your life, like this is really important advice you're getting right now. I asked about like how to stay creative and be making films when you're broke, because he talked about when he was broke in his 20s. So he said basically like just try and get through the rough patch. He told me to believe in myself, you guys. He said you need to believe in yourself, which I was like, wow. And he said you have to know that you're gonna be okay, or like know that it's gonna be okay, something like that. And I just like wanted to cry right then, because I like just have been struggling with money and with exactly that, like trying to stay making stuff, and like how do you make stuff with no money, and just very stressed out about that. So in that moment, to hear those words from him that I was not expecting him to, you know, get that deep, but he did, and I was shook. It's a little distracting when he's like looking at you and just like continues to answer the question to you. Like I think he's a great person. Like, I don't know him personally, but I know as much as you can know about him just from the internet, and everyone who knows him says he's got like a huge heart. Edgar Wright. Oh man. So I only did this because I ran into someone who comes into the store I work at. He ran into him on the bus, like this regular customer of ours. And he's like, oh, you should hand him a note. Like, just kind of hand him a note. And I was like, like, why would I do that? But then I kept thinking about it, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna do it. So this is like day 2 of Q&As. And so after my question, I like handed him this note, and it was like sitting there on the table throughout the whole Q&A, and I was like, oh, is he gonna forget it? And then before he went off, he like held it up and put it in his pocket, and he looked at me, he's like, I got it. And I was like, oh my god, he talked to me. I mean, all signs point to just Edgar Wright being the coolest fucking dude, and like I just want to be that cool when I grow up. That's my main thing. I gotta turn out like him. Like, he's goals in every way. I'm really glad that I've been vlogging and talking about my experiences to a camera recently. This is just my iPhone, sorry guys. Like, when you gotta vlog, you gotta vlog, you know what I mean? Because I just have a sense that like this time in my life, like the past couple of weeks specifically, and like the couple weeks to come, are going to be like times I remember vividly throughout the rest of my life. It just feels like something is changing right now, and so I'm glad that I have a recording of this, and I'm gonna keep recording. Kind of, I've lost any hope that this channel is gonna like jump off or anything. Really kind of, I don't know, a lot has changed the past week. Not too concerned about that. I'm just kind of wanting to record it for myself, and I guess for any of my friends or family or anyone else who knows me who kind of would be interested in this. This is gonna be a long vlog, I'm sorry guys. It's just kind of a reminder that my life is gonna end sometime, and so I'm never gonna, like, I will never be back to this point, and like, this feels like a turning point in my life, and I will never be back to this again. So I'm in it. Like, this is it, guys. Like, here we are. Today, for the first time, I think ever, like just today, sitting in the coffee shop, I had the thought that I might actually be the only filmmaker like me in Hollywood, based on a couple things. One thing was just like, I had this idea for a music video, and I was like, okay, I gotta find like a similar video with similar dancing so I can like play the song with it and try and visualize it more, or just like use as inspiration. And I can't fucking find it. Like, I can't find anything like what my idea is, or anything even like the style of what I want to do. And so I'm starting to think like, oh wait, like maybe it doesn't actually exist, and like maybe that's actually an original idea that I had, and which is annoying first and foremost because I can't find anything to kind of use as a template, but then it's also kind of exciting, like I could do something new, and so thoughts like that are very cool and inspiring. And I think I'm Edgar Wright's #1 fan, and I think Edgar Wright is the most influential, I'm serious, I think he's the most influential director of the decade, or even like the couple decades surrounding this decade. I think he is the most important one, like, and so people are going to be tons of people are already like, just everyone's talking about him. He's gonna change everything, and I am like, I was in the front row. I have my hand up first, like both days, so I feel like in Hollywood right now, I am Edgar Wright's #1 fan, and I'm a filmmaker, and so I'm gonna be reflecting him in my work, and I think that I might do that in a way that no one else has done, or like with a passion unmatched by anyone else. And so that sets me apart, like, and god damn it, that has nothing to do with me, that's all Edgar. So I'm very lucky that that happened to me, and so I'm just saying, there's a wave of people who are going to be making things like him, and already are making things like him. Films are already being influenced by him, and I want to do that more than anyone else. So I think that gives me a little bit of an edge somehow, like I've got extra Edgar power or whatever. And also, I am a woman, and we have yet to have like a legendary filmmaker through history, you know, who is looked up to, kind of like Steven Spielberg or George Lucas, or now someone like Edgar Wright. It just hasn't happened yet, for reasons that I don't appreciate, but it is kind of like everyone who's a woman and who is making films right now is like, it's gonna be me. So that's another thing. Or, you know, hopefully in the future it'll be kind of, there'll be lots of female filmmakers who are appreciated in the same way that the legends of the past have been appreciated. So hopefully after a few hundred years have passed, it'll be a little bit more spread out, and people will be like, why are all the like early ones all men? So those are my thoughts for today. Again, apologies for all this stuff. I was just like, god damn it, I'm gonna make a vlog right now. It's gonna be long. I'm not even gonna try and make this short. It's gonna be long. Maybe the next thing you see me post will be like a filmy thing. We'll see about that. I will catch you later.